I got one question for you, YouTubers. Do you soak your nuts? 'Cause I do. Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for joining me today. I really meant it when I asked you, do you soak your nuts? What I really meant, though, is do you soak your nuts, seeds, and grains before you cook and eat them? Well, I do. And I'm here to tell you today the process of how to do it and exactly why we're doing it and what happens if we don't soak our nuts and seeds. First, let's start with why we soak our nuts and seeds. So, first of all, we need to understand that in nature, when you take a nut or seed, let's say cashews or chickpeas, they're covered in a chemical called phytic acid. And what these chemicals called enzyme inhibitors, the phytic acid protects the nutrients inside the chickpea or the nut or seed until it rains. And once it rains outside, then it can begin to sprout and release its nutrients and then begin to grow. So when we buy these products and we ingest them right away, the phytic acid is actually still present and we don't actually get the nutrients when we eat them. So when we're soaking our nuts or seeds, basically what we're doing is we're imitating nature. We're neutralizing the phytic acid and then the nutrients are activated and now they're absorbable. So all we have to do is we take our product, we take our chickpeas, we put it in a jar, and we add water and we leave it on the counter overnight, and that neutralizes the phytic acid. And now in the morning, we can cook them and we can eat them confidently, knowing that our bodies are getting the nutrients from it. A thing I wanted to add about the soaking and sprouting part is it does reduce your cooking time slightly, so that is pretty handy. The hard part about soaking and sprouting is you have to kind of plan ahead, so you can't just soak for 5 minutes and then cook and you're ready to go. So you have to plan for what you're going to eat tomorrow and start soaking and sprouting the day before or 2 days before, because these things take time. So what I do personally is I'll soak something for a couple days, overnight, and then the next day when I start sprouting it, I'll start soaking something else. And then I know I have kind of a cycle going, and every day I'll have either soaked or sprouted foods ready to cook, and that works for me. So if we don't sprout our nuts, seeds, or grains, you guessed it, you're going to get gas and bloating. So that's what happens. The enzyme inhibitors don't let anything digest properly, so we get the indigestion feeling, the gas and bloating, and that's why we soak. However, you can take some digestive enzymes that will actually help break it down a little quicker for you, so you can avoid some of the gas and bloating, but soaking and sprouting is definitely the easier and cheaper option. So if you're wondering what the soaking and sprouting time is on a certain type of food, it would be best to just check online, because there's so many different soaking times and sprouting times for each food that I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly what it was. So just check online, because every nut, seed, grain can and should be soaked, but not everything can be sprouted. So if you want to figure out what can and can't be sprouted and the soaking time, just check online for more details. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes right now to show you guys in the kitchen some of the soaking and sprouting process, and I'll show you some visuals of what it looks like to look at an unsoaked product versus a soaked product. Let's get going. Okay guys, here we are in my kitchen. So I'm just going to quickly show you a couple examples of chickpeas, sprouted versus unsoaked and unsprouted. So if you come look over here, I've got dried chickpeas right here, organic dried chickpeas. And then I've got organic soaked and sprouted chickpeas here. You can actually tell quite a distinct difference. You can see how it's sprouting so nicely. The nutrients in this are all absorbable now and ready for me to eat, whereas these ones are still containing the enzyme inhibitors, so those are not ready to eat. So what I do, if you'll just come over here to the sink with me, You just put your chickpeas in a jar, you fill it full of water, you leave it on your counter overnight. Next day, you're going to take it off, you're going to grab a colander, rinse it, and then you put it on a plate. Or some kind of little flat surface. They do make sprouting kits. I didn't feel like buying one because I found this to be just as effective for me. So once you've soaked it overnight, you put it on a plate or something flat and put it near the window so it can get some sunlight. And every few hours or when you come home from work, just put it back in the colander, give it a quick rinse and put it back on the plate because it uses a lot of water. So if you leave it too long, it'll dry out. So these are pretty much ready to cook for me and good to go. Well, there you guys go. That's the ins and outs of soaking and sprouting. It's pretty simple, but really important. So anyways, if you're somebody who enjoys eating nuts and seeds and grains, click like and subscribe and leave a comment in the section below. I'll talk to you later. See ya.